Hello and welcome to our video. This is Lauren with therawkey.com. Today I'll be demonstrating how I prepare a whole raw chicken for our cats and dogs meat meals following the principles of the natural canine and feline diets. If you want to learn more about how to feed your dog or cat to maintain their health or reverse chronic disease conditions, please visit our website, therawkey.com. To prepare a whole chicken, you will need a large cutting board, a cleaver or heavy knife, and a whole chicken. Also helpful is a pair of heavy-duty scissors or poultry shears and a few paper towels. Starting off, we will be removing the skin and fat from the chicken. Start with the bird breast side up with the legs pointing towards you. Begin by pulling the skin away from the breast up towards the wings, breaking the skin down the center as you pull up. Continue pulling the skin around towards the back and down towards the legs. Most of the skin should come off easily in one large piece. Now we remove the skin and fat because wild prey in nature is very lean and contains far less fat than the commercially grown animals we have available in the grocery store. Fat is where the majority of toxins are stored within the body, so removing as much fat as possible also limits exposure to toxins in the meat. We do this because our dogs' and cats' physiology is designed around its natural foods. Their bodies were never designed for high fat, and if provided with too much fat, their bodies will malfunction due to the excess burden. Disease symptoms are a result of cellular malfunction, which is caused by an excess of waste built up around the cells. The less burden on the body, the more efficient and effective the body can run its normal processes. So, using your scissors or a sharp knife, you can trim off any large sections of fat as you see them. Under the thighs and on the back are typically the largest areas of fat. You do not need to remove all the visible fat, but do try to get off as much as reasonable. And you're just going to continue to pull the fat off as you move your way around and pull the skin off. And if you see that your hands are starting to get slippery and it's getting harder to pull the skin, go ahead and grab one of those paper towels and you'll see it becomes much easier to just pull that skin right off. We're going to discard all of that fat and skin, and then we're just going to continue making our way around the chicken, trimming off any bits of fat as you see them. And this is where having a pair of good scissors can really save you a lot of time. Now, as we flip the bird over, you're going to see there's a large chunk of fat down at the base of the chicken, and the tailbone is mostly fat. So I just remove both of those and just discard. Now we're going to start segmenting the chicken. So what I usually do is just run my knife straight down, breaking the breast apart a little bit, and then whacking through the breastbone with the cleaver. Or if it's giving you a little bit of trouble, you can go ahead in there with the scissors and just cut straight up through the breastbone, opening up the chicken. Then I will just see if there's any little straggler pieces of fat and get those cleaned off. Now you'll see there's a number of organs inside the cavity there. And so that's the benefit of feeding a whole chicken rather than chicken pieces, because you're going to get that organ meat for your dogs and cats that you wouldn't find in the pre-portioned sections. So now we're just going to go ahead and segment the chicken. And what I usually do is I start whacking to the left or to the right of the spine and just separating the chicken into two pieces. Now, if you have a larger dog, you can go ahead and just stop there and just give them 1/2 of a chicken per day. or whatever the portion size is for that particular size dog. If you have a medium dog, you can go ahead and just cut it into the fours like this, the leg and then the breast, and have those each be a meal, so you get 4 meals out of 1 chicken. And then for the smaller dogs, you can go ahead and continue segmenting. I just go along each of the joints where it looks natural, and as you see, as I segment, I just continue to trim fat here and there as I see it. So I'll go ahead and get that top of the thigh and the under the thigh fat. That tends to be on pretty much every chicken. You'll find a lot of fat in that area. And then I'll separate the leg from the thigh right at the bone there. And then I can take the spine off. And then I usually separate the shoulder, leaving a little bit of meat onto the wing. And you'll see there's a little bit of fat there underneath the wing, so get that. And then the breast, if you're feeding a portion, you can just leave it in that larger size, but if you're going to be running it through the grinder, or if you're going with smaller portions for the dogs under 10 or 15 pounds, or for cats, you can break the breast up into 2 or 3 pieces. And then the thigh bone, if you're going to be running it through the grinder, I usually separate the thigh into 2 or 3 pieces so that it'll fit down through the tube in the grinder. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to grind at the end of this video. So I am right now trimming and getting the pieces closer to where they would be for grinding. We always want to give the largest pieces possible to the dog, so they have to chew and tear at it. This is not only good for their mental stimulation and dental health, but also minimizes any choking risks. If you cut up chicken into small pieces, dogs will try to swallow them whole. So the ideal is to give pieces too large for them to swallow, so they have to do some chewing to get the pieces small enough to swallow. If you have smaller dogs or cats, you'll want to break the chicken down into smaller portions. Using the cleaver or scissors, you can separate each segment until you get to the sizes that are good for your particular dog or cat. In this video, we're going to be breaking them down small enough for grinding and cat meals. For our cats, we make portions that range from 4.5 ounces to 9 ounces. And for our small dogs that range from 7 to 9 pounds, they all get portions that range from 7 to 9 ounces. Which is what you're seeing on the board right there. Now, preparing for grinding, we need to break the portions down into sizes that will fit through the grinder tube. Most tubes are about 2 inches wide, which is the size that we'll be cutting to here. So you'll notice that the neck portion there was already small enough to fit into the grinder tube, so I just took the larger portion, sliced that up. You can see we're doing about 1.5 inch to 2 inch wide cubes, and I just continue to remove the fat as I see it. With the thigh bones, I like to take off the side bone first and then split that in half so that the bone portion is separate from the other meat portion. And then this section that goes along the spine, you just want to get it narrow enough that it'll fit in the grinder tube. And here's our grinder set up, and it's literally just flip the switch on, start dropping the meat in. Use the little plunger to make sure that it gets fed down in there, and the machine does all the work. And so I just run, meat and bone straight through, and I've never had this grinder give me any issues with any chickens. Even large chicken drumsticks up to 14 ounces each just go through with no problem. And this is just a $50, $60 grinder that I found on Amazon, so it's not an expensive grinder. Now, we only grind meat for those dogs that have true dental issues. Grinding food should only be done for those cats and dogs that truly cannot chew whole meat. Having the meat whole is very important for keeping their teeth healthy, as well as for their mental health and their digestion. Ground meat can be eaten much faster than whole, so if you find your cat or dog is eating very quickly, a slow feeder bowl would be a good option to slow them down and improve digestion. When feeding bones through the grinder, if one gets stuck, switch the machine to reverse, then flip to forward again to regrind. You may need to switch back and forth a few times to clear the clog or remove the piece and use the cleaver to make it smaller before grinding it again. You can grind up individual portions as needed on a daily basis, or grind up a large batch and then freeze individual portions for the week, month, or several months, depending on your needs. Thank you for watching today's video. If you found this helpful, please give us a like and subscribe now. If you have any questions or you just want to say hi, please leave a comment below. Please share this video with anyone you know who wants optimal health for their furry companions. And check out some of our other videos or visit the Raw Key to learn more about the natural canine and feline diets.